In this video, I'm going to show you how to link Google Ads to Google Analytics. It's a step that doesn't take very long at all, but if you're running Google Ad campaigns, it is well worth doing. By linking the two, you get better data, and with better data, we can make better decisions. And here's a classic example of this. So I'm within a Google Analytics account that is hooked up to an active Google Ads account, and under acquisition and Google Ads on this left-hand side, we've got these campaigns section where you can see some really useful data. And what we've got here is data that's been gathered from both Google Ads and Google Analytics and put together. So we can see these three campaigns here. They've got clicks data, cost data, and CPC data, just the sort of stuff you'd expect to see in a Google Ads account, but that's alongside more Google Analytics data like sessions, bounce rate, and things like that. So by combining the two, we can compare really useful data points alongside each other instead of having to flip back between Google Ads and Analytics and things like that. There are also some other advantages associated with linking the two. So firstly, you can import goals from Google Analytics into your Google Ads account. It helps with more accurate conversion data. You can also create audiences within Google Analytics that you then use in your Google Ads account. And you get extra information around engagement. So what do people do once they click on your Google Ads and come through to your website? How many pages do they visit? All that sort of stuff. That's really useful information to have that you wouldn't always have in your Google Ads account. So before we go ahead and link the two, there's a couple of things that you need to make sure of. Firstly, you want to be using the same login, the same Google account on both your Google Analytics and your Google Ads. That's going to make this process a lot easier. The way you test that, if I jump over to the Google Ads account, is by your profile picture up on the right-hand side. You should be able to see the email address associated with your login, right? And if we jump back to Analytics and you click on this little profile, then you should see, hopefully that's the same email address in there. If it isn't, then you want to make sure that you're logged in across on the same across both. If you find that one email address, it has access to your Google Analytics account and a different email address has access to your Google Ads account and there's no crossover, you can quite easily add one of them, whichever one you'd like to use going forward, to either the Google Ads account or the Google Analytics account. Then make sure the logins are the same, and then you can set up this process. So just something you might run into as an issue. The other issue that you might run into is you need the right level of permissions, the right account access. For Analytics, you need edit permissions or higher. For your Google Ads account, you need admin access. You need to be an admin of that account. So as we go through this process, if you aren't either of those, you'll see a warning pop up. Google will let you know and they'll show you how to fix it. So it's not a big deal, but just be aware that that's something that you need to take care of in order for this process to actually work. Okay, so let's go ahead and link Google Ads to Google Analytics. So the easiest way to do this is actually within Google Analytics. And if you come down and click admin on the left-hand side down here, and then under property, we want to click on Google Ads linking. Now, as I said, this is an active Google Analytics account that's already linked to an active Google Ads account, so we can see one in here. You may see something slightly different if you haven't set this up before, but you want to go ahead and click on new link group. And then what you'll see is that Google's provided a list of all the potential Google Ad accounts that I'm an admin of under this Google account that I could link to this Google Analytics account. So this is not going to be sort of correct, but I'm just going to add one for demonstration purposes. I'm going to select that one there, scroll down and click continue. Okay, then I want to give this link group a title. So I'm just going to call this example link group because it's for demonstration purposes. Then there are a couple of settings and things that we need to enable. So firstly, definitely turn on all website data. If you have other options underneath this, which you may or may not do, I'd normally recommend turning them on. You can even click this select all button anyway. Then we've got a section here where it says enabling auto tagging is defaulted, but we can turn that off if we want to. I would definitely not recommend turning that off. Like, leave that on. You want to enable auto tagging, helps with better data. And as I said, more accurate data helps everything. And then account settings, data sharing. Likewise, I'd recommend turning that on. Better data, more accurate data, and we know the accuracy of the data we receive inside our Google Ads account, our Google Analytics account, helps us make better decisions, helps us get better results. Then you want to go ahead and click link accounts, and that's it. Very straightforward process to get those linked. As you can see, Google is recommending a number of things, like some of the stuff we've already discussed, importing goals, using audiences that you can then import in your Google Ads account. So you can have a play around with that stuff. I'll create future videos on that. But one thing I do want to recommend before we finish is that after 48 hours, maybe a little bit longer, you want to be taking a look at what the data shows within your Google Ads account and comparing it to your Google Analytics account and making sure that it's fairly similar. So if we jump back to our campaigns report, when we come into this campaigns report, we want to make sure that the number of clicks generated is pretty close to the number of sessions, and it is here, which is fantastic. Now, there's always going to be a bit of a discrepancy. Part of the reason why is that a click is going to be recorded every time there's a click on one of your ads. A session will only be recorded if someone waits for the landing page to load. So if you've got a slow loading landing page, the discrepancy is likely to be larger. People who click, say, accidentally or changed their mind or had bad connection, never made it through. So there's always going to be a little bit of a drop off there. There's also not 100% tracking capability. So if people have cookie blockers on and things like that, then you might have a bit of discrepancy between the number of clicks and the number of sessions. Roughly a 90% or above similarity between these two numbers is fantastic. 10%, this is really quite small here. Anything less than 10% is not something that I worry about. But you do want to make sure that they're roughly the same, because that'll show you that this is set up correctly. Linking Google Ads to Google Analytics can certainly help improve the performance of your Google Ad campaigns, but you also need to know how to find keywords to target. In this video here, I show you how to use Google's free keyword planner tool to find high-performing keywords that you can target. I'd strongly recommend you check it out.